Today, let's talk about the internet's most favorite scary game.
A game about a man who needlessly risked his life in a pizzeria.
We're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. Hello and welcome to this episode of Let's Talk to Each Other. That was the full name, but we shortened it for...
I actually did not know that was the full name.
Yeah.
I thought it was just Let's Talk.
Yeah.
I have a cup.
Let's talk to each other about subjects that we feel like talking about. That's the full name.
That's a pretty long name.
Yeah, that's why we shortened it to Let's Talk. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about, like we said in the intro, the game Five Nights at Freddy's, because the game... Yeah.
I just felt like
with the release of the third game merely a week ago, the game has become extremely popular. So let's just go ahead and start off with this. If you don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, then
I have no life.
They probably have more life than we do. If you do not know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, however, I suggest clicking right here. It will lead you to a Let's Play video of the first Five Nights at Freddy's played by the lovely Markiplier. And if you don't know who Markiplier is, then you have no life. Anyways, so now that we got those people out of here, let's continue talking about... So what was your first reaction to the game? To the original game, Five Nights at Freddy's?
When I played it or when I saw someone play it? Because I haven't actually played it yet.
When you saw somebody play it.
Alright. When I saw somebody play it, I actually bust out laughing because they were just like screaming like a little girl, and it was this grown dude.
Yeah, it was Markiplier that you were watching.
Oh yeah,
he gets paid by YouTube to do that. So he gets paid by YouTube to make videos of him.
And they like ended up flipping over backwards out of his chair or something.
Yeah,
it was really hilarious.
I knocked my microphone over.
And it's like throughout the first phone call, he was just so funny. It's like that's not good.
This is like I can do a good Markiplier impression. Not yet.
Nope. It's like the bye. What bye? It's just like
now, at that point, he's referring to an event known as the Bite of 87. Do you know exactly what that is?
Yeah.
The Bite of 87?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's amazing how the human body can live without the frontal lobe.
Yeah.
But it's
so
like
anyway,
this little child gets bit.
Actually, it wasn't a child.
Oh, it was
we don't know that it was a child.
It was a little man.
We don't know. A lot of people theorize that the person who was bitten is the guy that you play as in the second game. You see, here's the thing. You play as Jeremy Fitzgerald in the second game, and on the sixth night, phone guy calls up and says that we have one more event scheduled for tomorrow. It's a birthday. We're gonna schedule you for day shift.
Yes, that would make sense.
Yeah, we're gonna schedule you for day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anybody. Stay close to the animatronics.
Yeah, that's a setup for disaster. Right
Oh yeah. But a lot of people are like wondering which animatronic it was that caused the Bite of 87.
I would think Foxy, since he was out of order in the first game.
Yeah, no, that's a good assumption, but that actually isn't a bad assumption at all.
Yeah.
Foxy is in more of a state of disrepair in the first game than he is in the second game. And actually, one of the things that people say is the common reason why Foxy is the person who caused the Bite of 87 is because his jaw is broken. Mm-hmm. If you see him in the game, his mouth is almost always open.
Yeah.
But I say almost because if you look during his jump scare, right at the beginning of it, his mouth is closed. So it could be a number of people. My personal theory is either it's the Mangle, which is the toy Foxy that got taken apart and stuff.
Yeah.
Either the Mangle, Toy Chica, because she has the Let's Party thing on her, so she's probably at birthday parties.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense, actually.
Or the puppet, since the puppet is just crazy. But then again, the puppet doesn't really have a jaw.
Not really. You know, just thinking about it, though, the toy Chica would actually be a good one because it, like you said, it has the Let's Party, so it's probably for birthday parties. Then it's not seen in the first game, so more than likely they just completely trashed it.
It was more than likely actually in the newspaper article at the end of the second game, it says all of the new animatronics are going to be scrapped. And they're going to keep the old ones in the hopes of repairing them. Now, I don't know why they didn't repair Foxy. I'm assuming it was just because Foxy was always kind of a glitchy character. Yeah. And I'm assuming it was like he was thought up at last minute and always had some sort of strange glitch to him. Which actually he was the last animatronic to be thought of by the developer of the game, Scott Cawthon. Yeah, he was the very last one.
That was actually a good idea, though.
Yeah. No, he was a great. I mean, like he's I think everybody's favorite animatronic, and there are a lot of people that want to say that Foxy is a good guy. However, no, and here's what they say in the first game. He's the only one that doesn't actually attack you. He just leans into the door, and people say that the scream is just like his voice box malfunctioning when he gets into the door.
So why does the game end?
Because the player has a heart attack. That's what they say. But then in the second game, he full on jumps on you.
Okay, wait. So first game, the guy has a heart attack. Are you playing as like a 54-year-old?
Maybe. Not much is known about Mike Schmidt, the guy you play as in the first game. But I say that's baloney because I don't know. People. But I will say this: everybody's least favorite animatronic. I think you may know who it is.
Bonnie.
No, that's the one that I think everybody's like. That's a personal favorite of mine because I think he is the scariest.
Oh, yeah.
Bonnie is the creepiest one out of all of them.
Especially when he doesn't have a face.
Oh yeah. Everybody's most hated animatronic in all of Five Nights at Freddy's is Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy doesn't even kill you in any of the games. Not even in the third game. Like he jump scares you in the third game at the very least, but he doesn't kill you.
Wow. So what's he do? Like disable your cameras?
And he causes ventilation errors in the third game.
Ventilation errors.
Well, see, here's the thing. There's only one animatronic in the third game. All of the other ones that jump scare you, they're ghosts. They're the ghosts of the 5 children that were murdered at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Whoa. Things are getting very interesting.
Oh, yeah. And in the third game, there are several. Somebody's opening the door. Let's see who it is. It's a Seth. Hello. It's a wild Seth appeared. Anyways, in the third game, there are multiple endings. There's a bad ending, which basically is just playing through the game without doing anything. And then there's a neutral or good ending, where if you find all of the hidden mini games inside the game and you complete them correctly, you get the good ending, which basically says that the souls of the 5 children have moved on and have left the animatronics.
About time.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where it ends right there.
Wow.
With Five Nights at Freddy. What was I gonna say before that? But
it sounds like they based a lot of their game off of the fans' theories.
They did, but even in the first game, there were hidden newspapers on the wall, or there were newspapers that would sometimes appear on the walls, and it would tell the story of 5 children who were abducted, but nobody knows what actually happened to them. But it is also said that shortly after they were abducted, the animatronics started leaking blood and mucus from their face, and they started smelling horrible.
I think we can kind of make a connection there.
Yeah, you put two and two together. Yeah, and there's also kind of a debate on who murdered them. Now, there's obviously the character that is known for murdering them is known as the purple guy.
The purple guy. That's not racist.
The purple guy. The purple guy.
Sorry, purple people.
The purple guy apparently killed all of them, but people think that the phone guy was the murderer.
Why the phone guy?
Because you don't really know that much about him.
That's true.
You don't really know about that, and it's very easy.
He dies though, so.
Yeah, he does die in the first game, which might be a But actually, no! It can't be the phone guy.
Why not?
It can't be the phone guy because the purple guy in the third game, you see, the purple guy dies after the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, whereas the phone guy dies during them. Purple guy is killed when he. Well, now see, let me preface it with this. In Five Nights at Freddy's, we learned that there are several suits that not only work as regular animatronics, but with like a turn of a crank, all of the animatronic stuff moves to the side, and you can wear the suits. However, the locks that keep those animatronic parts in place are very, very, very easy to undo. Basically, if you breathe on them, they will come undone. And as the phone guy explains, in the case of a malfunction of the spring lock mechanism, please manage to try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out.
Well then.
Basically, meaning it crushes you. And in one of the mini games, the purple guy runs into one of the suits, and he's thinking, and because he's being chased by the ghosts of the kids that he murdered.
Yeah.
And he gets in there, and he's laughing at them because, ha! You can't get me now, and then he crushes him.
I'm sorry for laughing, but I find it kind of amusing. The thing that he hid the kid's dead body in ended up being his undoing.
Oh yeah, it wasn't that one because like it was all the other ones that
it's pretty much the same thing though.
But now there's another one that phone guy in the third game. Phone guy. Well, let me explain. Have you seen the third game?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it.
Okay, it's not phone dude, which is the hey man, what's up? That phone guy, not that phone guy. That guy is completely irrelevant. So far, I don't know. The phone guy in the recordings that they found says there are they have two suits that can do that. The Bonnie and Freddy. A yellow Freddy.
So Golden Freddy.
Golden Freddy. Well, maybe Golden Freddy, yeah.
Well,
but then again, he also says there are other costumes that are not animatronics, that are just costumes. And he says specifically about those costumes, any questions about the relevance of these costumes should not be asked, as they were found on very short notice. So it could be like, why is he golden? Or why is he because there is a purple Freddy.
There's a purple Freddy.
But he's a hallucination.
Oh. Kind of like the Golden Freddy was.
Yeah.
At one point.
Golden Freddy was always a hallucination, but a deadly one.
Yeah. So what's Purple Freddy do as a hallucination?
He sits in the parts and services room in the second game, and he does nothing from what I know. I think he may crash your game. I don't know. I think he might either crash your game like Golden Freddy did in the first game. I know that in the second game, Golden Freddy itself does kill you. He doesn't crash your game. He legit kills you, and he is an animatronic that hallucinate. It's complicated.
So it's like the ghost playing with your mind,
and then murdering you, and apparently he's included in the customized night. You can tune him up to say, I don't know how you tune up a ghost, but
it's like, okay, ghost, hold still. Just using my invisible monkey wrench on you.
It's never actually explained how their AIs are changed, but I think it's not something that's actually in the story. It's just something that just happened to happen.
Yeah.
Which leads me to another thing that people are trying to figure that is the most difficult challenge in all of Five Nights at Freddy's. Comes far after the game becomes scary. Because after a while, the game isn't scary anymore. It's just frustrating. You want to beat it. Hi.
Joe, wrapping up.
Ish.
Ish. Wrapping up ish.
Yeah, ish. Somewhat.
Because it's 10 after already. We gave you all the extra time
Dang, it's 10 after.
to try to wrap it up as quickly as possible. Okay.
All right.
Well, I think that we might have to continue this in a part 2 in episode 16. And I say episode 16 because the next episode is the random rant.
Ooh.
Or we might just continue this in the random rant. Who knows? We can talk about whatever we want in the random rant.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just gotta be random. So forget what we just said, and we'll randomly stumble onto the topic of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. And I've noticed that this episode was more me talking.
That's because I really don't know much about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
I do a lot of learning though. So
that is true.
That's all good.
Yeah. One more thing before we do go. Do you know the significance of the puppet?
Yeah, I've heard a bit about the puppet.
What is the significance?
Apparently, there's like a demon child's soul trapped in it. Or something
There
like
is the first child that was ever murdered in or around the company. That child was murdered at the very first Fredbear's Family Diner. Where there was one animatronic walking around a very short building, and apparently that child got scared or something, ran outside, started crying. Purple guy drives up, kills him, drives off. And we will continue.
I'm kind of happy Purple guy died.
Yeah, and we will continue in the next, whenever we continue on with this, or maybe we just never will continue on this. But I think this is a fun topic to talk about.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about death, being scared, and furry animals.
Yeah.
Sleep well tonight.
You see, it's a good thing to talk about this because, let's be honest, the third game came out. I think Scott's probably going to be done with it after the third game, unless he, for some reason, decides to make a fourth. The popularity of the game is probably going to be dying soon, so let's talk about it now while we can. But we can't right now because we're about to leave. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching this episode of Let's Talk.
That was really fast. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Alright, so let's...
Wow.
Wait.
All the time seemed to
hold on.
vanish.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I see what.